Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is NAKIE and this is Cook with NAKIE. On today's menu we're making okro soup. Yes, it tastes so good, simple to make, and yes, you're gonna love it. Let's get started. In a pot I'm adding my turkey. This is the drumstick. You could use any meat of your choice, beef, goat, pork. Yes. So I'm gonna be adding one tablespoon of grated ginger. If you don't have it, you could use the powdered one if you prefer. To give it extra flavor, I'm adding tolo beef, also known as cured beef, and it is salted. So yes, this brings a lot of flavor to your stews and soup. And also added garlic paste. I'm not a fan of garlic, but once in a while I'll add it depending on what kind of food I'm cooking. I just added some star cube. Use any seasoning of your choice, and I added about 1 cup of water. I give this a stir and I'm gonna cover it for it to cook for about 15 minutes. In about 10 or 15 minutes later, this is how it's looking. The aroma coming out smells so good because of the tomato beef or the cured beef. I'm adding my blended tomatoes, onions, and scotch bonnet pepper. That's it. I didn't show that part, but that's all I have in there: blended tomatoes, onion, and scotch bonnet pepper. I'm gonna be adding anchovies to this soup. Before you use this, you want to take the head off, and also not just the head off, you want to take the gills off because it's bitter. If you don't take it off, it's gonna make your soup or stew bitter. So this is how I try to take it. I take it from the gills up to the head. If you can see how I'm doing it, yeah, just try to take the head and try to take the gills off too because that's the part that has that bitter taste. Also, I think they might have the headless one if you don't want to go through the stress of taking the head off. And yeah, that's it. See how small it looks after taking the head off. Yeah. Give this a wash, and I'm gonna set this aside. We're gonna use that later on. So my sauce have been cooking for additional 7 to 10 minutes now, and the low heat. And as you can see, most of the moisture has evaporated. And yes, I'm going to be adding my tuna fish to it. I'm adding scotch bonnet pepper to it because I tasted it and it wasn't spicy enough. I want it really spicy, especially when I'm making okra soup. I don't know why, but yeah. So I added 3 more to it. I crushed it to make sure all that spiciness relays into the stew. So I have my grated okra. I'm also adding my grated ginger and chopped onions. I added about 2 cups of water to it. I'm adding bicarbonate of soda, also known as baking soda. If you don't want your okra to be slimy, you don't need to add it, but I want it to be slimy, so that's what I'm using. You could also add the kanwe, that's what we Ghanaians call it. It's like a stone, but I didn't have that, and bicarbonate of soda or the baking soda also acts like the same. So yeah, that's what I just added to it, and make sure you don't add too much because it's gonna mess up your okra. It's gonna be too slimy and you cannot be eat it. So yeah, that cooked for about 7 minutes under low heat. So coming back to our stew, I'm adding cloves powder and ginger powder to my sauce. I'm also adding ground anise to it. All these spices are optional. You could use any spices that you prefer. I'm adding my cooked okra to it at this point, and yes, it is almost ready. You could have it this way if you don't like the oil, like the red oil. I'm going to be adding that in a minute, but at this point, if you don't like it, just give it a stir and you're ready to eat. Usually the way I make my okra stew is I start with the oil, I add the blended tomatoes, pepper and onion, and I make the stew, and after adding the okra, like the cooked okra, my okra is ready. But this is a different way, this is a different style. I tried and trust me, it was so good. It was also good. So both ways you could go with it. If you don't like this way, you could go to the traditional way that we were taught, like I would say I was taught. But I tried this and trust me, it was really good. So in the pot, I now have my oil. I'm adding my sliced onions to it, and I'm going to be adding my anchovies. Yes, the anchovies brought a lot of flavor to the oil before we added it to our okra stew. So I keep saying okra soup or okra stew. I don't know which is which, but I think because I'm adding red oil to it, it's okra stew. And if you don't add red oil, it's okra soup. That's what I think. I'm not sure. What do you think? What's the difference between the okra soup or the okra stew? Because it's kind of soupy to me. So anyway, so yeah, my oil is ready, and all I'm doing is just adding it to the soup. And at this point, remember my heat is off. So make sure your heat is off. If you want your okra to be slimy, you want to turn your heat off at this point. But if you don't want it slimy, you could still turn it on, because the more heat is gonna cut that sliminess. That's also another trick. So that's it. Give it a stir, and your okra stew or okra soup is ready. And yes, I'm going to be enjoying this with some banku. You could enjoy this with some kinky or some gari. And yes, it was good. Simple to make, and I loved it. Alright, everybody, thank you so much for watching this recipe. I hope you learned something new. I hope you give this recipe a try, and I know you will love it. Please give me a thumbs up if you love this recipe, and also don't forget to turn on notification and subscribe if you haven't. Until I come your way next time, this is Cook with NAKIE. Be good to yourself, be good to everyone. It goes a long way.